Hi, everybody. I'm Pat Vanderwall, bass drummer with the Shannon Rovers.
And I'm Marc Horner, bagpiper with the Shannon Rovers.
And we're here to present the official podcast, Good Craic, 100 Years with the Shannon Rovers. Horner, can you believe it's been that long?
I cannot, I can almost count that high. But just like any other bagpipe performance, I guarantee you're going to experience a wide range of emotions listening to these episodes. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to hear stories you've never heard before.
Yeah, we have a great lineup of guests, past, present, and hopefully future Rovers. Stories you've never heard before. We can't wait to give it to you.
So enough of the two of us. Let's get under the kilt.
Hope you enjoy the episode. Well, I think the goal of this project is to celebrate the first century of the Shannon Rovers Irish Pipe Band here in Chicago, Chicago's preeminent pipe band that leads the St. Patrick's Day Parade off, and what's gone on in the last 100 years. How did this come about? What are some of the activities that we've done, some of the jobs we've played, the places we've been? Add some history and color to this. I think that's going to be an interesting project.
The stories and history associated with the band are remarkable, and I've personally learned this through experiencing the band. I wasn't even aware of the band before I went to my first lesson to start learning to become a bagpiper.
Is that right?
I totally just bass backwards fell into the band.
Hey, you fit right into this band.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Little did I know that was a membership requirement. But
sure.
No, the history is remarkable, and so I'm looking forward to learning even more about the band from hearing about it from people that have been in it for multiple generations in many cases.
Yeah, families are a big part of the band too, and I think we'll get into that with certain guests. It's been a tradition, whether it's father, son, brothers, couples. There's a lot of good family Chicago history in the band that I think makes for some really good stories.
Yeah.
And jobs played. So I think it'll be fun. How long have you been a piper?
That's an interesting question. I started taking lessons 25 years ago.
Okay.
I took a 10-year sabbatical when there was too much going on at home with kids' sports and things. So 25 years ago, started taking lessons, been a part of the band for 15 of those 25.
Okay.
How about you?
6 years. I started, I think 2019 was my first practice, and it came about because I had been helping out with the West Suburban Board of Catholic Charities, run a St. Patrick's Day party for low-income families in the Cicero-Berwyn area. So we did it at Fitzgerald's, a great jazz club in Berwyn. And every year as part of it, we would bring in, my co-partner in this venture would bring in the Shannon Rovers because he knew a bunch of guys, some of which you will meet along the way here, Brian Costello, Tom Finnegan. And they would play every year for 6 or 7 years. And every year I would sit with them at the bar afterwards and have a few pops and be like, I really think I should take bagpipe lessons. And they all said, you should take bagpipe lessons. Then I'd wake up the next morning going, I don't think I'm going to take bagpipe lessons. Finally, one year I said, bagpipes seem hard. What about the big drum? Keep the beat. And they said, sure. Yeah, why not? So Brian brought me in to meet certain guys the first July in 19, and then my first job was December of that year. And I've been playing in the band ever since. So it's been a hoot. It's been a fun hobby. My wife calls it my midlife crisis.
Yeah.
You know, she's allowed to do that because I'll let her say whatever she wants because she lets me do it. So it's been a lot of fun. It's taken me places that I wouldn't have anticipated it. I've had great relationships out of it, and I think that all makes for good stories, too. And really the fabric of what the last 100 years has been. I mean, the history part, and there'll be guests that we have that'll talk in a little bit more depth with this, but, you know, Tommy Ryan, our founder, came over from Ireland in the 20s, and when they got here, you know, met with each other. They had was a fife and drum band at the beginning. But there, if you look at minutes from some of those first meetings, you know, they were here in the Great Depression. And obviously that affected a lot of people, a lot of Irish immigrants that had, you know, relocated over the United States. And the minutes of some of those meetings, band meetings, were we want to bring joy and relief to some people out there and find ways to raise money and help the destitute right now, because it's a tough time. So that, I mean, we started with a mission, I mean, to bring joy, I'm sure, but then of that grew some, I don't know if you'd call it philanthropy or what you'd call it, but it really built up more than just guys getting together to play music.
Right.
And feel comfortable about it. And, you know, you think about 100 years and what that's brought in this country and in this city and the things that they've seen. They played at the World's Fair. the Chicago World's Fair, the Shannon Rovers. They've played in front of several presidents.
Yeah.
I know we mentioned FDR. They played for President Barack Obama on St. Patrick's Day in Washington, D.C. Plenty of people in between. They've played at celebrity events, funerals, weddings. It's really civic events. Like, it's a pretty cool band to be associated with.
It is an incredible band to be associated with. What is a fife?
That's a great question. Brian, do you know what a fife is?
What's a fife? It's two fingers.
Yeah.
Both
raised.
That's a fife. Two fingers up.
What I've heard is the pipers, especially our pipe major, doesn't like to acknowledge our history as a fife and drum band first. He just wanted the pipes to be first. So it hasn't always been a bagpipe band. It was a bagpipe band shortly after. The fife thing didn't last too long. Do we know?
And I don't know if I can talk right now, but
Sure.
If you play any kind of tin whistle or any kind of like flute instrument, it's similar, fingering.
Okay.
It probably was a really easy transition.
Okay.
But a fife is like a tin whistle.
Yeah, and if you look back, it's like the Revolution, or the guy
Yeah.
playing that was a fife, and there was a drummer in that famous picture.
Sure. The Washington
Yeah,
picture. Yeah.
Which was like, if you think about it, it was like 50 years before we started.
Yeah, it's pretty
Or
crazy.
from
Not 50.
that, but from the Civil War and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So in the history of the band, which by the way, I'm overwhelmed at how much history of the band you know.
Well, it's,
But when we converted from a fife and drum band to pipes and drums,
I think by the 1933, I want to say it was a complete takeover of the pipes.
relatively
When was
quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the World's Fair we played, because we were playing bagpipes at the World's Fair.
Okay, that's correct. Yeah, so then the pipes became the focal point of the
Yeah.
band after that. So
watching me play the bagpipes, is it reconsidered? It made you
you're
reconsider?
up there with the vintage war pipes of the Irish. I mean, that's what they were considered. You couldn't always play the bagpipes at public events, and especially over in Europe, they were considered. Some songs were considered war crimes.
But your perception about the difficulty of playing the bagpipes, if this idiot can butcher them the way that I do, is that reconsidered your position of playing
don't sell
the
yourself
bass
short.
drum?
You're a much bigger idiot than you think you are. But like, I would assume that there is some savviness in playing the bagpipes. You gotta. I mean, I'm sure we can talk about or find people to talk about the mechanisms of playing the bagpipe. It's an interesting instrument. I just think when you reach a certain age, your brain's so full of oatmeal and other stuff. If I'd have started it,
Or coconut yogurt.
yeah, coconut yogurt,
Right.
with granola, fruity pebbles and blueberries. I think it takes patience. Like a lot of things. I like to jump to the head of the line. I was 45 years old.
Right.
I was like, I want to get involved and play music and go out in jobs. And I'm big. I look the part. I can probably not crash the car by keeping the beat with the bass drum, and it's probably a lot easier. And I was proven correct in almost all of those instances. So would it be cooler to play the bagpipes? I think playing the bagpipes is way cooler than playing the bass drum.
It is pretty cool.
But I don't know if you don't know this about me, Horner, but I am the face of the band. And
Yeah,
you
I'm
can't
aware of
rob the
that.
public of this.
Of
You
course.
can't rob yourself of these. You can't rob the public, really. And so everybody, also everybody.
Did you just say we can't deprive the public of your face?
No, I said you couldn't rob the public.
Oh,
of that
sorry, Rob.
experience.
Okay,
Yes.
that's grammatical correction.
It's
That's
not
a baker's
grammatical.
dozen as of this morning.
It's not grammatical. It's just factual. It's more fun. But people want to take pictures with. Yeah, I mean you because you're freakishly tall, but
There's a long list of reasons why people want to take a picture with
you're
me.
a gentle soul too.
Right,
by the way,
right,
you really are
right.
a gentle soul.
Always mom's favorite. Yeah.
But everybody wants
John
to take
F.
a
Kennedy,
picture of the
good
band.
looks.
It's branding. So I figured that out early too. Everybody wants to take a picture with the big drum.
That's true. That is
great.
true.
It's great, but it's been. I mean, I think of even we just did an event. Late in the year, my first job was this Irish Fellowship of Chicago luncheon, Christmas luncheon. And it is a whirlwind. I mean, there's several hundred, 500 people maybe at this luncheon.
Yeah.
And it's dignitaries and it's everybody who needs to be there for union purposes
Right.
and rub shoulders with,
Right.
the Chicago politics, which is a big part of this band. That we'll discuss too. Our relationship with the unions in the city of Chicago. As you know, the Plumbers Union runs the St. Patrick's Day festivities and runs the downtown parade, and our relationship with them, which allows us to be float number one, the Shannon Rovers, and then you get the mayor, the governor, the alderman, the guests of honor, all behind us.
All behind us.
It's pretty cool. And I mean, from my standpoint, I think the first time I thought I really arrived in the band was lining up on Columbus Ave and looking northbound and looking at the loop in those buildings and looking at the crowds that are already gathering at the beginning of the parade, 30, 40 deep on each side. This is something. This is a thing.
It's an incredible experience. Well, so back to my bass backwards falling into the band. When I was a student, the first time as I'm learning to play the pipes, then I got to wear a kilt as a member of the color guard, which is part of the progression as you're working through the band. And people were talking about the dinner dance coming up, which happens in the fall. And again, for somebody not having any experience with the band whatsoever, I had in my mind that the dinner dance was going to be at a VFW hall and family style corned beef and cabbage and pitchers of Guinness, which would be a ton of fun.
Which we play a million of those parties a year, by the way.
That is a ton of fun. That is a ton of fun. So I'm not maligning that experience at all. But the dinner dance for the Rovers, for people that are not familiar with it, is an unbelievable blockbuster event. But the first one that I went to was at the Hilton and Towers. First time wearing a kilt. I think there were 1,000 people in attendance. It was the October after 9/11, and I don't know, Brian, if you remember what the band did. So normally, what the band does when we come in is the flags go in, American flags leading, and the pipes and the drums, and the band reversed it for that event. So the last member of the band to come in was the person holding the American flag.
Wow!
The American flag came in last.
Wow!
And in the color guard, how you get flag assignments is by height. So I'm 6'7".
So you had the American flag coming in.
My first time I'm wearing a kilt as a member of the band is going to the dinner dance, which again wasn't anything what I expected it to be. This blockbuster event. The band goes in. I think it was playing Nation. I think the band was playing Nation Once Again first, which also is not the order that we were playing Nation Once Again. Then there was a pause. They cut the lights in the room, and a spotlight went to the American flag, and then the band started playing "It's a Grand Old Flag." A month and a half after 9/11. The place, I still get goosebumps.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps. I had no idea this story. This is unbelievable.
So the place went bananas when the band started playing and the spotlights on the flag.
You had to be so jacked, dude.
I'm seriously. I've got goosebumps right now. This many years ago.
That's so cool.
So, but it's easy being around the band and the knuckleheads that are all part of it, which is also part of your requirement of membership, being an idiot, but. It's
in the bylaws.
It is in the. I think it's section 6.2. But it's, for me anyway. It's easy being around it frequently. Not as frequently as most, but being around it frequently. It's easy to forget the impact that we have on people.
Sure.
And so the number of times that people have come up to say, "Hey, you played for my daughter's wedding, or you played for my wedding, and now you're playing for my kid's wedding." The multi-generation impact and watching people get emotional talking about the experience that the band provides. It's an unbelievable hobby and something to be a part of.
Well, and there are times too where as the bass drummer, you guys are doing the heavy lifting with the music, and I'm just there are times where I'm not playing at all. And I think of Amazing Grace and how many times this band has played Amazing Grace at a bar, at a funeral, at something. And usually it's a solo piper. And then when they're done, the second verse is all of you come in with your drones and you all pipe. And there is nothing cooler or more powerful than that transition, right?
It's super cool.
And it doesn't matter where you are, who you are. I mean, I'm looking around every event we've played Amazing Grace at. You look around and somebody's in tears.
Yeah.
They're thinking of their mom, their dad, their husband, their wife, their brother, their friend, someone who's no longer around.
Yeah.
Who they're thinking of in that moment. And I think the coolest, every single time we play Amazing Grace, I see people doing that.
Always.
I look for it.
Yeah.
I look for it. And you realize that, they're going to remember that part of this ceremony when they think about it. They're like, they'll come up to you afterwards and say, that was unbelievable. You guys sounded great. I was thinking of my dad or whatever. Like, those are the kind of cool moments, even in a dark time, that lift people's spirits. When we went down to New Orleans a few years ago, we played a Mardi Gras down there in the Crew of Endymion Parade, 2022. And Brian Costello, the pipe major, added a wrinkle to Amazing Grace, which I think has served us well.
Absolutely, it has.
We call it Cajun Grace, but it's got you play the solo piper, Amazing Grace, and then you do something a little more upbeat with a lot of drum beats in it and stuff. And it's more of a party. It turns into more of like a New Orleans second line, which was Brian's idea behind the transition of it. And also, we've kept it. It wasn't just a one time. We weren't sure how. First of all, there were a lot of people, pipers in the band, long time pipers, that were skeptical of whether or not we should jazz up Amazing Grace. And
really, did you get
like you can't do that?
You got some pushback?
Yeah, for sure. We got pushback on it, but the more these old stodgy people in the band heard it and watched the reactions in the bars, it's great because we say, we often ask people for our last set, we play Amazing Grace, right?
Yeah.
And we always ask somebody to, raise their glass and think of our first responders and our armed forces members who are out there watching on the front lines for us. And also think of some of your friends or relatives, somebody important to you that's no longer here, but you wish could be and was looking down on us, right? And rather than leaving the place in tears, you want to leave them feeling pretty good. So you play Cajun, and by the end, it's a party. It's a ruckus. It's a romp. It's an absolute blast. So
thank you. I didn't realize there were some hurdles to overcome with that. So thank you for sticking to your guns on that, dude. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Brian.
I don't make music selections. I just play it. So
seriously, that is awesome. So this is a live experience of what it's like to be in the band.
Yeah.
Our band manager, Marty McAndrew, was supposed to be here a little while ago, and my phone...
Oh, I just had my phone ringing. Was that Marty, you think?
Probably.
See, I know we're live recording, so I prefer not to bring out my phone and check messages during recordings, but if you'd like to, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Why don't you tell me what's going on?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Marty called.
Yeah, here we go. No, let's do it. Let's do this live for the podcast.
Sure. Where are you guys hanging? I'm napping on the sofa. He's probably down at Fairhaven.
Hey, dude, we're doing a phone call on the podcast. Where are you?
It's very well done.
Thank you.
I'm stretching out on your Chesterfield.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So Brian's on his way down. So he will be right there. Thanks, brother. Okay.
Can't wait till this makes the blooper reel.
All right, so for for everybody listening and watching right now, you just got your first experience of what it's like to be in the band.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right.
Yeah.
This engagement was supposed to start 45 minutes ago, and our band manager just arrived. That is
for
standard
a
operating
nationally
procedure.
lauded organization and band, a revered band in the city of Chicago. You guys are the gold standard. I hear that all the time. It really is smoke and mirrors. A lot of it's smoke and mirrors.
One big house of cards.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
In fact, maybe that's the new title of the show.
House of Cards.
Right. 100 years of House of Cards.
That's right. I like it. It's a working title. It's a working title. But yeah, bringing in people to even dive more, from our personal experiences. You and I have been in the band, but you, like you said, off and on, you had a little bit of a hiatus in there. I've only been in the band, a member for 6 years. There are people that have been in this band 40, 50 years.
Incredible.
That grew up in this band, that came of age in this band, who got married, had kids, have grandkids in this band.
Well, then back to Marty, our band manager. He, I believe, his dad was in the band, and then I know his son is in the band. So you got 3 generations.
Sure,
of
he's
a
got
family.
relatives in the band too. There's some people are cousins, and all that kind of stuff too. So it is a family affair, and I think a lot of people take this very seriously. And there's a lot of pride in this group. We're joking around, we're busting chops a little bit, as is our want, but there's a lot of pride in this band.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I heard, and we'll get this corrected in future episodes, but I think I heard that there's over 50 pipe bands in the city of Chicago, and the Shannon Rovers get like 50% of the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is unbelievable. So branding and name recognition go a long way. And there are some pipe groups that we appreciate and respect, and there's some that we don't care for. There's some rivalries brewing.
For
So-
anybody that's interested, Pat lives at 7455
There's some
Belmont Avenue.
there's some-
If you want to go respond to that in person.
That's right. That's
Right.
But I think you'll see, through the history of the band and through the history of, just pipes in the city of Chicago, there's going to be other competing bands and things like that. But it's the branding. It's getting in front of it, making sure that once you have a job and you have a relationship, that you maintain that relationship. Don't rest on your laurels, right? We have to make sure that, we're responding to people and we have open conversations with people. And that's why the relationships with the officers of this band are important. But it trickles down to the members too. When we make relationships, we cater to those relationships, right? We want them to know that we appreciate them thinking of us for their event.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a big part of what the last 100 years have been about, is just the relationships that this band has with the city, with our clientele, with people in Chicago, that the Shannon Rovers are instantly recognizable from people who know anything about St. Patrick's Day in this city or pipe banding, any of that kind of stuff. I think the Shannon Rovers, as people have walked up to me, how many times have people come up to you and said, "You guys are the gold standard"?
Right, exactly.
And little do they know, what you don't know is we're also a roving band of lunatics. But
But I think that is part of what makes the band special. So you talked about the number of pipe bands in the city of Chicago, and so my understanding is there's a range from competition level bands that are trying to deliver a performance in a particular way, and then there are
Show
bands that are show or more or entertainment bands that have a little bit of a different take on delivering a different experience for the listener. And I've heard some stories from members of the band where members of competition bands from, not necessarily from Chicago, I think there was a competition band, it might have been from Canada, that ran around with us, a group of ours, during St. Patrick's Day, when we're going in and out of restaurants, in and out of bars, in and out of parties, sometimes not in great weather. And a competition band member, which Marty, you can back me up on this, a competition band member said, "There's no way their band could do what it is that we do,
right on,
performing in all sorts of different circumstances and delivering just a bit of a." I just gave myself goosebumps again.
Yeah,
delivering a different kind of experience for the audience.
Yeah, and listen, that's very much a part of what has made this band for 100 years. And I look forward to talking with these kind of, with our guests over the next several episodes and getting these stories out that you and I might have heard of or have never heard of. Some of these, how we got to be where we were in the moment where we were at, and all of a sudden you're at Arlington National Cemetery, right?
Right.
Or you're at the John Wayne Museum, or you're in the White House. How did we get here? And that's going to be
the streets of Dublin.
Yeah,
I mean, global.
Southie in the Boston Parade, right? Like all the trips we've taken, putting on outfits for one of the crew of Endymion and slipping on beads and frisbees as you're walking down Canal Street in the Mardi Gras Parade. Like, it's cool, and I look forward to getting those stories from our guests as well. So I think it'll be a good project, Mark. I'm looking forward to working on it with you.
I think it'll be a good project too. I'm getting used to working with you.
Well,
so that is a work in process. All right. Is that good enough for right now?
Yeah. Marty, you can go home. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, right. Perfect.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for listening. For more information, events and history, stories about the Shannon Rovers, visit our website at shannonrovers.com.
And don't be shy about booking us for your next event. A Shannon Rovers experience is not to be missed. And ask for that Pat and Marc discount. It's actually a premium.